Technology.
Well, I literally pressed the key on my computer.
Yeah, that's because technology is trustworthy. Say that to you. Good technology. Okay, I'll mention that later. Okay, I know. Oh, I think this is the first 6th grade.
Okay. So only adults will be sitting on the couch. Okay. So
Why is it not putting in?
I have no idea.
Well, at least we have.
You're gonna sit no closer than like right here. Come on in.
Well,
Huh? Right here. No closer than right here. Across because we have a lot of people coming in. So turn them right here. They're coming. They are. Oh yeah. I know that. Like lessons. I talked to them. I'm all set with them. Eliza, you gotta be with the group. So we do need room for people to come through. Okay. So folks, here's the thing. You fool around once. You don't get a warning. You get sent to the office. Okay? Immediately. Because this is too important to them. They work too hard on it. You're not going to you can fill in. Nobody's sitting on the couch. Okay, remember that 4th grade is going to be kind of creeping in there. Okay. We do need to leave a path here so they can get around. Remember that. Okay, you might need to squeeze a little tighter here, but we'll see. Okay, you can fill in kind of here, but leave a path. Some of them are going to sit in the front. Okay. Yes. If anyone fools around at all, there are no warnings. You are going directly to the office. Okay. This is too important to them. They've worked too hard. Okay. Okay. I need them to get done. I know. I think Christina should be with them right now. So, folks, you're going to need to sit crisscross, no legs out. Put your shoe on.
I can't.
Well, get it on. Back up a little. Back up a little. We need to squish some people in here. Okay. There we go. Okay, and squish a little there. No, it doesn't mean you give more. You guys have to squish closer so that they can come in. Okay, so you're going to be going to the front of the room and squishing in as much as you can. Okay, so you're going to the front, squish in, please. You can try. We have a couch right here. Girls, you can't lean on the couch. We have people who are going to use the couch. Yeah, push forward. You need to move forward.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all of you need to move forward. You need to let her through. Okay, you guys are in front. There you go. So you may have to crane your neck to see that, but other than that, you should be fine. Oh, someone's embarrassed. I want to do that. You will be fine. And you guys have more room around you than most people.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Reader.
Okay. All right, we are going to get started. I'm not sure if we are streaming or not yet. I think we are. Okay, so let me explain a little bit. Marty his coffee if he needs it. We will, yeah. It's Marty's. We can just put it over there. Thanks.
Could you even grab one of those sheets from behind you? Thank you, and just pass it my way. Okay,
So, hello, and this is the first time since, I'm trying to think which, 2018, that we were able to do a live, everybody here debate. Last year we did it virtually. We had the team in here and they streamed it around the school. I think this will be a little more effective. What's going to happen is some of the participants are going to have slideshows, and I think all of you can probably see the presentation if you just kind of turn a little bit without making a whole lot of movement. And the way it's organized is right on the score sheet that all of you have. So what's going to happen first are the two opening statement participants will give their opening statements about their side, and they'll present their case. After that, we have question 4. And if you look on the back of your score sheet, question 4 is right there. I will read it before they present it. After they each present their side of question 4, they will get a few moments to discuss with their table, and then they can rebut the other participant. Okay? We will probably get to question 5, which is argument 3, and then we will resume tomorrow. Does anyone have any questions? If you do need to go to the bathroom, please be polite about it and quietly ask someone to excuse you to get by. And when you go, please close the door quietly behind you. Don't let it just drop, okay? That'd be awesome. They have worked really hard. I'm like blocking you. They've been working since March on this. They've been working on skills like research, collaboration, writing of arguments, responding to what they think the other side is going to do. So they've been putting in a lot of work. They've been practicing with each other, giving each other feedback. So they've been touching on all kinds of ELA skills and humanities and research skills. Okay. 7th grade, this is going to be you next year. I think we're going to need to do it in the gym with your crew. Is it 4th grade? I don't think we have room, unfortunately. How many of them are there?
there's like
20 now.
In 4th grade, there's
Oh,
no
4th grade.
4th grade.
14.
Yeah,
Keep going.
I don't know that we can fit them all in here unless they all switch up here.
and
You like them?
No.
Oh, then we'll have them. Okay,
Then-
so
Let's
can you let them know that they'll have to squish in here? And actually, would you?
Sit right by you
Do you think they can squish up here?
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna have to go around, so go around the bookshelf.
Come right behind me.
Yep, follow.
Ashley, you're gonna do that.
So, just squish on in. So at some point,
No, Missy, I keep saying we need to do this at Enosburg High School on the stage. Keep saying it every year.
and the only reason we're not doing it
Oh, that'd be
in
great.
the, guys, this way. You cannot sit all squished like they're all like, okay. All right, and you can, actually, can you back up there a little bit? I'm gonna move this. How about if we move this back there and post on it back there? Here. All right, so for those of you who are a little late in coming, let me explain this again. The way it's gonna go is we have 2 people giving opening statements. After they give their opening statements, we will go to question 4. I will read question 4 since you don't have one of these sheets. And you'll know what they are going to be responding to. We have a side that is team technology is beneficial, and we have team technology is harmful. Yes. They did not. Okay, so that's a great question. Thank you. The way that teams were chosen was randomly. My coconut chose everything. So first it chose the teams. So we drew names for the teams. After it did that, I put a member of each team in, pulled that name, then I put in the side, negative or positive, pulled that, and whoever was chosen, their team got that side. So everything in this is random. The only thing that's not random is choosing which questions they were going to tackle. Yes, ma'am.
And also the order of the questions and the order of like the arguments
Who goes
were
first? Who goes
completely
second?
random as well.
So there is no choosing, no expectations. It's all about the coconut. So, are we ready? I really ask that you be a good audience. You might want to open some windows because it's going to get awfully stuffy in here. And can you open the window? So I ask that you need to go to the bathroom and need to go get a drink or whatever, that you very quietly say excuse me and find the easiest way out without disturbing a lot of people. That would be awesome. Okay? Okay, so again, our debate is about whether or not modern technology is beneficial or if it is harmful. Okay? Okay, this is team beneficial, this is team harmful. And if you notice, all of our gamers, the majority of them are over here.
That was a random choice.
Yes, right, it was random. They were right there when I chose it. Okay, so we need everybody to be quiet, especially over here. If you speak over there, it's right above you. It will pick up every single thing you said. So if your parents are tuning in, they're going to go, my, that sounds like Ashton. And they'll know. And last year it happened. I had a team right underneath the camera, and they were talking, and everybody could hear it. So we just need to be careful of that. All right? So, brave man getting to go first, because it's always hardest to go first. After him, it gets easier and easier. So, I believe in you. I know you can do it. Let's debate.
Technology has put a negative impact on society. The night of November 20th, 2017, Molly Rose and her family sat watching reality TV, laughing together before they headed up into their rooms. As they say their usual, see you tomorrow morning, later that night, alone in her room, 14-year-old Molly Rose connected to the internet one last time, including logging onto Instagram, where she was continuing into a rabbit hole of depressive pictures and videos, while being on a group chat with people as they told her it would be okay to do it. That was the night social media told her to take her on. In society today, technology has grown dramatically and helped people out a lot. Even though it can help out in many different ways, there's always another side of it. Technology has grown so far to where we cannot stop it. It has went from one spheres, creating nukes, robots, and even the internet. The world has created so many amazing things, like having anything you need to know right in your pocket. But when the internet was created, do you really think the people who created it thought about how to turn negative? All they thought about was how amazing it was going to be for people to interact, FaceTime each other, call each other, text each other, and be able to look anything up on their phone. But they never thought about what would happen to Molly Rose and the 30,000 people that commit suicide every year. People rely on technology way too much to where it can get addictive. Not to point out anybody, but some people in this room, their parents will call them to come upstairs or downstairs instead of walking up to them and telling them when they're in the same house. Technology has affected all age groups, from little kids to even grandmothers. Today's generation of kids have phones, iPads, computers, etc. And a lot of kids don't interact with people because they get so addicted to whatever don't care about anything else. Some kids have been leaded to oppressive pictures and videos on websites like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and many others. It has also been shown that ages 5 through 14 have staggering 546 suicides in 2019. And this is one little girl that took her life because of social media. There are many negative things about technology. Military warfare can be dangerous. For example, Russia versus Ukraine. Throughout the war, 950 civilians have been injured and 549 civilians have been killed, including 41 children that have been killed from Russian invasion. Ukraine has killed 7,000 to 15,000 Russian soldiers, and this is from things like bombs, weapons, cyclones, etc. And these have all been made by technology. Many people have lost large amount of money connected with banking and billing through technology from hackers and scammers. Hackers and scammers can do things like get into your bank account, take all your money, or crash your bank account. I'm sure most of us here have been on websites just looking around or shopping, and things have popped up asking questions like, what is your dog's name? Or what would your phone number be if it was your credit card number? That is how hackers and scammers can get into your bank account, and it could be more dangerous than just getting into your bank account. They could find where you live, what you were doing on a daily basis, and many different things. So, before we begin this debate, I would just want to make sure that everybody put in perspective how negative technology has put a more negative impact on society than it has positive. Thank you. That's not good.
Just close that X out. So. Okay, and now we have team beneficial, Gavin.
Okay, so I'm positive technology and I'm the instructor. So the impacts technology have given us have been countless ways. For example, thanks to technology advancing, over 4,000 planets have been discovered. So technology has advanced by a wide margin. From going to stone tools to the first ways of communication and now to what we have known as the internet. Technology has also helped with many other things such as medical treatments, military and defense, communication and media, learning, jobs, the list goes on and on. After my team and I have looked at many pieces of evidence, we figured out that there's a much wider positive impact on society than negative. But to come to this conclusion, I had to figure out the bigger question. What really is technology? This doesn't mean just a definition, but who is affected by technology, and what would society be without it? First of all, the first kind of technology dates back to nearly 2 million years ago. The first kind of technology were usually just round-based rocks, either used to cut wood or to butcher animals. Since then, over 40,000 years ago, tools like these had come to a stop, and technology has since skyrocketed. Since then, one of the main important parts of daily life are jobs. Today, jobs have skyrocketed, being easier to apply for, and many more have been created. An interactive advertising guru study comprising more than 600 leading media studies finds the internet economy grew 7 times faster than the total U.S. economy, creating over 7 million jobs in the past 4 years. This is an all-time high and one of the many positives of modern technology. Since the beginning of technology, people questioned if it would work. For example, another thing just like this, electricity. People didn't really like it, and they were still burning fire for light. As science writer Rose Evelyn first, it's only in magazine states, and when electricity came around, it wasn't immediately seen as a necessity. In fact, electricity companies had to convince people that product was useful. And today, electricity seems like a great invention. Now, I'm not saying because electricity was great, technology will be too. But as Harrison Drea, an information technology professional quotes, technology is, after all, a human innovation. What we can create, we can also tame. Technology has been changing for the better, keeping people connected with the help of smartphones. It has also been being made safer. Not only is technology making new ways of social interaction, but it's being safer in ways of new guidelines and more privacy settings to help make the app a safer place. They have also made settings for parents to change child settings, limiting the possible dangers and adjusting it to their likings. This being said, think of how technology would be different without it, or how the life would be different without technology. Technology has made such an impact on Earth, almost nothing would be the same. Let's say the past 100 years of inventions were wiped away. You would wake up and the lights would work, along with your cell phone, faucet, and electrical outlets. This is because power and water work with massive computer systems. You would also have to walk to school or work because cars are like a massive computer system. Most jobs wouldn't even be functional without a computer. Compared to modern day, this would seem like a nightmare. Living like this, it is found that the average person can't go a day without technology. And without a permanently codified horse state, the answer is easy. Most of us would die within a few days, and the few that would remain would last only a few weeks or months. Without human tools, the human race would become extinct within a year. This isn't only due to social media and digital technology, but also more, including food transportation, road effects, and more, communication and personal technology. There wouldn't even be education in most places. Technology has been so powerful within our life and has made life so much easier and organized. With this only being a broad summary of what technology impacts, this is why my team and I came up with the conclusion that it impacts technology and is important to society. Thank you.
Okay, so the first question that we are going to be responding to is question 4. And question 4 is, in the age groups of pre-K or 4-year-olds up to 6th grade, 11 and 12-year-olds, what has technology done for or to that group? Okay, so young students and in their education, how have they been affected by technology? Our first speaker is going to be from Team Beneficial, and it is Ava Walker.
From building lawns to learning real-life skills, technology in elementary schools have improved learning. In grades pre-K through 6, educators, manufacturers, and parents/guardians have laid out the law for learning. Not many adults like their kids to play video games, but in all reality, the advantages that video games teach a child is huge. Games such as Minecraft and forms of Tetris have changed the perspective of kids as well as adults. And throughout the past 2 years, how would some of these students learn some of these skills due to the pandemic? Children and adults would have to start communicating more than they ever would before. If there was no technology, children would be limited to what their full learning capacity would be. Even though some may choose their side, all of their speeches are written with computers, printed with a printer, and the TV before you can hook into our Gmail accounts. Therefore, technology has been beneficial in elementary schools. Video games have changed the world of education. All games should teach the player something. Look at Minecraft, for example. Minecraft increases creativity and resource management. Minecraft gives access to make anything imaginable. In Minecraft, there's a setting called survival. Players have to fight off enemies while trying to survive. This teaches resource management. For example, a study from Larry Olton, a business consultant, states, for example, wood can be acquired by hand, but it's faster to use than axe. However, all these tools will eventually wear out, needing even more resources. Your child will soon be weighing in the economics of labor and resources as they seek to craft thousands of recipes used in the game. This shows that resource management in Minecraft is just as important as real life, such as building a house. And in another game called Tetris, it allows players to think strategically and develop mathematical and problem-solving skills. Now, typically, Tetris is known for engaging 25 to 45-year-olds, so it's not really in the range. But there's another game called Edu Tetris, which instead of shapes, there's little blocks, as on my poster. there's little blocks that you have to add up to 10, and all the deleted blocks will fall from underneath. From 5 scholarly authors states, students can determine the better half of every block and pre-calculated results of successive terms in order to determine the better path in order to achieve the maximum benefit of the game to enable students to add up to 10 in various combinations. This shows that EduTetris is educational for learners as well as teachers in elementary schooling. Educators or adults that use these resources or technology in general can help improve relationships with their children. Children and adults can get a stronger relationship through the lens of technology. Children can video call anyone through 2 commonly known apps for children, FaceTime and Kids Messenger. In FaceTime, a family can FaceTime relatives from all over the world. Of course, there are still fees, but FaceTime comes with a phone plan. For example, by Writers at Journey states, FaceTime is a video calling system that allows you to call anyone you want with just an email address and an Apple device. When you want to call someone in a different country using FaceTime, you need internet connection and a device that supports that application as your initial setup cost. This states that FaceTime can be accessed anywhere in the world with a phone plan. Kids can easily access family or friends at their fingertips, which brings me to my next point, Kids Messenger. Kids Messenger is an app for elementary school-aged children and allows kids to reach out to peers, adults, and healthcare specialists. It's on Facebook. For example, from Caroline Moore, a parent specialist, she states, because parents approve and add all the contacts, it's relatively low risk in terms of chatting with strangers or encountering reality content. This piece of evidence by Moore shows that parents can monitor what their child or children are doing, but can also have more of a free-for-all, which creates social skills. Email has been just as important as video calling on different platforms. Through email, I reached out to a healthcare worker, Marnie Millington. She specializes in speech and feeding disorders. I wouldn't have been able to reach out to her without technology. Apps and websites have a tremendous effect on education as well. Technology enables opportunities for students that they wouldn't have had before. There are endless possibilities for an elementary school-aged child to explore. In Khan Academy, an education resource, there are subjects like math, science, art, history, computer programming, and reading. In most elementary schools, they don't offer a tech class. Khan Academy offers it to make it easier for students to learn and explore. At Writers from Khan Academy, they state, Khan Academy offers practice exercises, instructional videos, and a personal learning dashboard that empowers learners to study at their own pace in and outside of the classroom. This shows what Khan Academy offers for the whole part. Videos, a personalized learning dashboard, and all different types of subjects. Khan Academy is a great resource for students and teachers. Technology also benefits STEM projects. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. 6.2% of employment, or nearly 8.6 million people have a STEM career right now. If they wouldn't have these careers without technology. For example, at the Office of Educational Technology, Ryder said, there are many resources that use technology to make STEM come to life for young children, allowing access to experiences they wouldn't otherwise have. For example, children can use the panda cams at the Smithsonian National Zoological Park to observe animals that aren't found in their everyday lives, take virtual tours of science museums, and observe cause and effect through simulations and games without risk of harm. This shows that children can use technology to take virtual tours of a national zoo park and observe animals. The whole reason that allowed them to do this? Technology. Technology is crucial in elementary schools. In Montgomery Elementary, almost every single student uses technology on a daily basis, whether it be iPads or computers. Learning in our schools added with technology every single day. These devices can help students improve their education with video games, child and adult relationships, and more opportunities with apps. Video games such as Minecraft and forms of Tetris has been beneficial for students with learning math skills, resource management, and creativity. With forms of technology, students can reach out to adults such as parents, educators, and healthcare workers. Technology can also get more opportunities in STEM world. Over 6% of employment is through the STEM world. I have a question for you all. Where would today's youth be if there was no technology in schools to improve learning at all ages? Thank you.
And now we will hear from Team Detrimental Technologies, Stuart Pratt.
There's no denying that technology has negatively affected society. Specifically, ages 12 and below are affected exponentially. These ways include behavior and mental growth in young children, cyberbullying, and the resultant suicide from it. Technology is having many negative effects on young children's lives. It stops mental growth in the child. Comprehension and brain functions are severely stopped and slowed during the first couple of years in a child's mental growth with technology. The typical actions from a growing child are not the same when devices are used instead of toys or people. When we are really little, we would sometimes bring toys out to a restaurant. Have you ever been in a restaurant with a young child near you? Let's say a couple years old, like maybe 2, and this new generation of parents. This child would probably typically throw a fit, which all children would at that age. When we were younger, our parents probably take out one of our favorite toys. We probably have a couple toys and our parents would play with us. This is having an interactive parent-offspring relationship. When this newer generation went through this typical fit, they were handed an iPhone or an iPad. Once this iPad is handed to the kid, they become a walking zombie, only seeking the attention of the iPad. There's extremely little interaction between the parents and the kid, but the go-to activity is the iPad. The child's supposed to learn off the environment and others around them. Toys and friends help them understand social skills and sharing. Devices don't do this. According to Eileen Schwartz with a PhD in special education, safe and responsive and nurturing environments are an important part of supporting the learning and development of infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. Such environments also help to prevent challenging behaviors and serve as a core component of interventions for infants and young children. This piece of evidence supports that the environment and the people around young children help them grow and develop, not the electronics. The growing brains aren't the only negatively affected part of children. Bullying is at an all-time high. Some of you might have experienced that. All of you might have experienced cyberbullying or being bullied online. Heritage reporter Sasha Jones reports that in 2019, 60% of kids ages 6 to 10 were cyberbullied. When a person is cyberbullied, it will almost always go without consequences. Thankfully, some people and some platforms have developed a reporting system where you can try and protect yourself. You can also have private accounts. But when this goes anonymous, it can almost always go without consequence. It can go on and on forever. There's no way to stop it. Technology has come so far that we can hide in our basements and bully people through a computer. If this is what we are calling beneficial technology, then we are lying to ourselves and people around us. Now, because of technology like this, and the people using it, the CDC can report and has to report the suicide rate, which in 2019 was 1 death from suicide every 11.5 minutes. Why is society allowing this? Cyberbullying and resultant suicide are normal now. By this I mean suicide has become such a regular thing. Amy Rodriguez claims that the effective design, negligence, and unreasonable dangerous features of Meta Snap's products led her daughter, Selena Rodriguez, to die by suicide last July. She was 10 years old, just like some of you might be. Think about how many times people are bullied and cyberbullied by these devices to drive them to a point where they commit suicide. Why have children this young committing suicide? In this case, it is because of technology, along with countless of other suicide cases every year that are happening because of cyberbullying, social media, and the negligence of the people who created these devices. But technology doesn't just kill people. If we take into account all the behavior problems it causes, it can be significantly worse. Behavior is often overlooked when technology is talked about. For example, anger and physical violence. Some people in the school have had their own behaviors change because of technology. Some people who are always on their phones might seem like socially active people, but in reality are just active on social media. These kinds of people will always bring their phones everywhere, but instead of talking to their friends and right next to each other, they're just playing or scrolling through TikTok. Now, this sounds like something you do. You probably have thought about deleting these apps and trying to get off your phone more. When you're with your friends, talk to them more. If you haven't thought about this till now, that's fine. Harvard University says that studies are beginning to show links between smartphone usage and the increased levels of anxiety, depression, poor sleep quality, and increased risk of car injury or death. Many of us wish we spent less time on our phones, but find it incredibly difficult to disconnect. Take a minute to think about what all these apps have done for you, or what they've done to you. Every person in this room with careful consideration can think of maybe a couple positive things. With further consideration, you can understand and probably think of all the negative things that have done to you. Whether it's staying up all night staring at your phone, not being able to fall asleep, or hiding from the social life. Maybe it's a social life you could have had if you got off your phone more. Some of us can barely put them down, even when we're with cherished family and friends. While these devices can enhance learning and build community, they can also interfere with everything from sleep to creativity. I don't think someone else needs to point out to you. But if they do, at least you will understand to get off that device. Stop scrolling. Go to sleep. Stop using your phones every day. Talk to your friends in person. Stop texting them and right next to each other. Some may think easier and faster ways to talk to each other are good. Easier ways of learning and having everything they could ever want and no one see in their pockets. To a certain point, we believe this is good. When it comes to sacrificing our lives, mental health, mental stability, and our newest generation's ideas, I don't just think, I know that's not right. Thank you.
At this moment, teams can confer a little bit about the rebuttal. While they're doing that, I would be scoring them. Could you have a moment to score? Remember, if you are near the computer, they can hear you. They're going to start in like a minute for the Oh, no. You're second level. Because you spoke, she rebuts, then you. Okay, 30-second warning. In 30 seconds, they will start the rebuttals. Emily, you're all caps. Undo cap locks. Okay, so for those of you who do not know what a rebuttal is, I think it was new to all of you too, it is a way to respond to what's been said. That's one of our standards in speaking in ELA, is to be able to listen to what someone says and then be able to respond. So in this case, how they're responding is in a way to better support their side of the argument. Okay, so in a rebuttal, you try to discount or prove the other side wrong in what they said, not on something totally unrelated. Does that make sense? Okay. So the first person to rebut is going to be Ava. Go ahead.
Although Stewart's argument was there were teacher talks about cyberbullying, depression, anxiety, all of that, our question was in the age groups of pre-K through 6, what has technology done or to that age group? What has it done for them? So for young students and education, not how they actually feel. And like, yes, that is a given point, but not a lot of fourth and fifth graders use TikTok every single day. And it should be you mentioned too much about cyberbullying and bullying and all that instead of all the like what's bad for it, what you can do to move away from it. And start like I will mention this again, bullying is real, but children with technology can set up Zoom meetings or email or talk to a therapist to overcome the anxiety, to overcome the depression, to overcome the bullying.
Thank you. Our second rebuttal. We need to go now.
Okay, go ahead, Stuart. Okay. Just to start, even though we can have therapists to solve all this, it's still happening, and that is because of the technology. Now, but while Ava did bring up some very good points about education, technology, we are forgetting that we still work together as a group. When you do a group project, you're more interactive than you do by yourself, or at least you can be if you're trying. Videos and social and FaceTime, that all can happen, yes. But when young people are put onto the internet, they can find dangerous apps and platforms like Omegle. Has anyone heard of Omegle here? Please raise your hand if you've heard of Omegle. Okay. How many of you below 6th grade have been on Omegle? No? Okay, well that's good. Because if you were, these dangerous apps and devices and sources can lead you to harmful things for young children's minds. Spacing out here, sorry.
So you can wrap it up.
Oh yeah, I don't know why spaces. When we're on video games, has anyone here been in a lobby? Okay, so I feel like some of you have definitely experienced some bullying from that, correct? Like explicit names and explicit words that should not be used on that app. That is because of the technology that has been used and created for people to communicate. Although it can be used for good, how many of you have been used and felt that it has been used for bad? Thank you.
So we are now moving on to question 1. Okay, so we need to be louder.
No, I'm gonna make it louder. Excuse me.
Okay, well, we've got to move on. So question 1 is, how has social media affected this generation? Okay, talking about Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn, Xbox, and so many more. How has it affected the middle school and probably into high school generation? Okay. And our first speaker is from Team Detrimental, Emily Lumbrough. Nice and loud, Emily.
Social media has negatively begun to affect our society. As you see, new social networks spend about 9.5 hours on video, as well as 3 hours and 17 minutes on social media on average. According to research, 69% of adults and 81% of teens in the U.S. use social media. We use social media to connect with others and keep us updated with what's happening around us. While this might seem like a good thing, the privileges of having access to billions of people have become negative effects of our world. Social media is a platform that billions of people around the world use for everyday, day-to-day life, which is a major problem considering considering how heavily we are attached to our devices. Most people check social media first thing in the morning. They check their messages, they scroll through their feeds, and they open snaps. We rely so heavily on these platforms to communicate with other people that it slowly falls into our everyday routine. Despite the fact that we are connecting with people, are we actually really connecting with them? Think about that for a moment. Most of us have many friends or followers on social media, some who we barely know or even talk to. And because of this, we lose track of all the important aspects like hanging out with friends, having face-to-face interactions, or just going outside. Social media distracts us from what's going on in our own life, and which because of these distractions and the amount of time spent on these platforms causes social media to affect our mental health. As the image behind you says, words scar, wounds destroy, bullies kill. This phrase has become more and more common with teens in our generation who are bullied by others on social media. This says, silent social media is affecting your mental health. It distracts you from work, you use it to escape bad emotions, you're being trolled or cyberbullied, you spend more time online with friends and family, feelings of anxiety, depression, and loneliness are spiking. Social media plays a huge part in mental health, as social media isn't everything it seems. It's affecting our everyday life, especially in our generation, by seeing people living a life that you can't have or having fear of missing out, which is anxiety that an exciting or interesting event may be going on, which is often aroused by social media. And because this kind of anxiety can lead to depression and unfortunately suicide. The world we live in is a cruel place because of our society and how it's a very toxic, harmful environment which social media doesn't help. As bullying and harassment occurs by random strangers that we don't even know, which is an outstanding problem considering 30,000 people yearly commit suicide. Even though they don't know these people, teens in our generation care about what others think about them. Maybe these hurtful words stay with them forever. While there are places that we can go to like support clubs, there are people on social media who encourage others to commit suicide, push people over the edge, and harm themselves. For example, in 2019, a teen took his own life after being outed and bullied on social media. This is Chen Smith. Suicides like this happen every day, which is one reason social media is such a potential threat for everyday life. Behind you is the issues kids feel result of cyberbullying. 9% began abusing drugs and alcohol, 14% developed an eating disorder, 20% started skipping classes, 24% stopped using social media altogether, 25% began to self-harm, 26% deleted their social media profile, 26% also had suicidal thoughts, while 37% developed depression, and 41% developed social anxiety. And all these problems are caused by cyberbullying from platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. The reason social media is so dangerous to our generation and is negatively affecting all of us is that our society has so much access to other people's lives without us even knowing other people's intentions. For example, fake accounts are being made, teens are being kidnapped, accounts being hacked, people's locations and important information being leaked and stolen. Users on these platforms have the ability to make fake accounts claim to be someone who they're not, which is becoming a huge danger. For example, June 2020, a 13-year-old girl from Texas was reported missing. A week prior to her disappearance, she was in contact with a man on social media pretending to be 19, or the elderly couple who was murdered while trying to buy a car from Craigslist. These are not nascent incidents, but are recurring problems. Many of these problems are caused by fake accounts who try to take advantage of these people. In addition, dating sites, marketplaces, and any other platform that allows people to connect with other people put their lives at risk. This is due to the large number of people operating on these platforms with unknown intentions, which is a problem, hence it poses such a threat to our lives. As this evidence indicates, having access to billions of people has had a negative effect on our world, especially in our generation. This is due to how much time we spend on social media platforms, which negatively impacts our mental health, along with social media, which pose a threat to our own safety that are indicated by what's on these platforms. Thank you.
Go back to signing out. And our team beneficial responded. There you go. Okay, just, yeah. No, just hover down below. Well, no, I wanted you to sign out, but that's okay. There you go. And then just put the arrow, put the cursor down. There you go. Just leave it down. There you go. So our next respondent to question 1 is from Team Beneficial. We're gonna hold on a second while Marty helps us out. Yes, because they're not hearing it. Okay. Yeah, you stand back. Okay, so, Isaiah Slagassi.
Social media has a crucial role in today's world. Social media is all apps on your phone, such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and more. Without social media, you wouldn't be able to get a hold of anyone online. Social media can be used for communication like education and business. It can also help with someone's health issues. So social media is very important to be used in our everyday life. Social media has positive ways to boost people's confidence. For example, networking on social media allows you to connect with others, building new relationships and strengthening ties. Getting likes and other positive feedback, and even may share to other people that think they might like it, which could boost moods and increase self-confidence. You may think that people can say harmful or negative things. However, roughly 31% say social media has mostly positive impact, while 24% describes it as effect as negative. The other 45% describes it as neither positive nor negative. The article Impact of Social Media on Youth Mental Health says overall, positive and negative comments are almost equal, but recently they were considerably more positive. Social media can help solve bigger problems such as bullying. The top social media sites work to stop cyberbullying with a combination of prevention and intervention. Social media can also help with people who have gone missing. When word gets out that someone's gone missing, it can be shared or posted on any social media platform. This allows more people to see and be aware that a person is gone missing. Government agencies and police are increasingly using social media to help find missing people. In fact, New York City Police Department launched a social media campaign to include the public in ongoing investigations, both find missing people and catch criminals. There are many positive aspects of social media that can help with health issues. A study shows that 90% of teen and young adults with symptoms of depression have gone online to help with their issues. Going through social media can help find someone who is or once was suffering the same thing that can help you. Social media can provide a safe space for people with issues and to express themselves and reveal their experiences with mental illnesses. When someone shares what they've been through, then it can help find a way to cure the problem. Also, if they find someone that has went through the same illness that they're going through, then he or she can help them get through it by giving them the support that they can hold. Social media is a big part of communication, and there's a lot of ways you can communicate through technology, whether it's school, business, or talking to someone in your day-to-day life. Social media has improved education greatly. For example, it promotes self-directed learning, which prepares students to search for answers and making decisions independently. It can also be used for research. Online, you can research anything you want to. The internet is supplied with many different articles and news websites that help with endless education. Social media can also help with someone's business, such as hiring a worker. If a business needs employees, there is an online website to have for whoever is looking for a job. This website provides all the information that is needed and also can contain a contact us button that you can press to contact the company. This is a way to communicate that is open for 24 hours a day. This is also a big help in case the store is closed and you cannot communicate and get information in person. Social media has many helpful qualities to people of all ages. It helps with digital communication, education, and can even benefit you in your day-to-day life. This includes meeting people that you can help you with a better emotional state, or can even help you get your job in person or digitally. With that being said, my team and I came to the conclusion that social media has positive benefits. Thank you.
For the moment, the team will confer, and then we'll have the rebuttals. At this point, you can use this time to score. So you've got a minute. This does not mean that you're talking. You're great. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so the last person to talk was Isaiah, so we will start with Emily.
So, this month, as I said, how social media is able to, like, if you go into something, you go to those platforms, like, help, like, get help and express yourself. Not all social media is for support, and it has become, it's begun to become a place of bullying and harassment. One of the other things that we don't know, or maybe people who might know, it also becomes a place of judgment and not very much of support. People also said that social media helps with missing people's cases, but as like these people on social media are sending in tips and theories that can actually get in the way of the investigation and like affect finding these missing people. And as I said, that it can help like social media help express people. People like to abuse the privileges that they have on social media. They post content that's meant to offend others or that can hurt them. And they share opinions that aren't necessary. Yeah, that's it.
And now, Isaiah, for team beneficial, do you have a rebuttal?
Okay. Emily did have many good points, but social media provides suicide helplines as well as therapists for health issues in young teens. Technology advancements allows teens to ignore text and block users. The help for suicidal teens is there. There are many apps that can help teens to get healthy. This is all thanks to technology.
Okay, so you need to sign in. Okay. So we are moving on to our last question for today. I
Can we add something to the
And our last question is question 5. Question 5 is, what effect has the digitalization of commerce had on economy? on jobs, on money transfer, on businesses, on the culture, socioeconomic strata, so the lower class up to the upper class, new ways to market, make money. So what effect has technology had on all of those things? Our first speaker is from Team Beneficial, and it is Macy Barnett.
My team believes that modern technology has had a positive impact on society. We believe that technology has come a long way since we began and has greatly improved our generation and the generations before us. There are many people that technology has affected in a positive way. Gen Z has been especially improved by technology and its place in business. Think back to the last time you saw a company that didn't have an online website or wasn't online already. The world's economy is changing. Today, it's hard to even find a company that's not based or has some ties to the internet. Technology has expanded business for people. People used to use paper advertisements, but now people's businesses are thriving because they can be advertised online and people can share and tell others about them via social media. Technology has created a great boost in business and has taken a very positive turn. There are many other ways that technology has positively affected society, such as social media and digitalization of culture. We believe that modern technology advancements have had a positive effect on modern-day business. The first reason why we believe modern technology has had a positive effect on today's society is because banking and business have expanded into an opportunity for more people. The reason for this is that many businesses have gone from small businesses to larger and more popular. For example, MIT Sloan, a management review says built a dental plan in Massachusetts for health insurance providers, and MBNA, a credit card provider, have both used quality service delivery to transform mediocre businesses into industry leaders. This shows that technological advancements have made this an opportunity for more people and businesses. The second reason for this is because of the type of companies that have grown because of technology. One example of these companies is Amazon. As we all know, Amazon is one of the top exceeding businesses, while this well-known company started off in a grow. For example, Lydia DeFils and Ivory Sherman, writers from CNN, say Jeff Bezos and his first few employees packed books and took them to the post office themselves in those first few days. This shows that this small business was impacted majorly just by being recognized online and is now a multi-billion-dollar company. Another example of banking that has expanded to an opportunity for people is apps such as Apple Pay and Venmo. For example, people can pay for clothes, groceries, and just about anything online. This is very convenient for many people because they don't have to go to the store to buy everyday necessities. Online banking is available for most people, and they can check their balances any time of the day or night. Many people also have online insurance. Online insurance or online security is something that was created to keep people and their identities protected online. Now that there's more security online, less people are being hacked and more people are safe and protected. Modern technology has definitely had a positive impact on business and business. The second reason why we believe that modern technology has affected our generation positively is because of the way socioeconomic strata have been affected by new technology and social media. This has had a large impact on our society and has really helped a lot people out. Many social media influencers get paid to create content such as TikToks, YouTube videos, and Instagram posts. People get paid a lot depending on the amount of likes and views. For example, Instagram influencers that have 10 to 50,000 followers can make around $40,000 to $100,000 a year. The influencers with millions of followers can make hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars a year. The second way that social media helps affect our generation positively is because small businesses can be promoted online on apps such as TikTok and Instagram, which can help grow their businesses and help it become more popular and recognized. This is why I believe modern technologies have a positive effect on socioeconomic strata. The last reason why we believe that modern technology has had positive impacts on society is because of the digitalization of culture. Learning about other cultures is right at your fingertips. A long time ago, before there were cars, iPhones, or computers, people didn't really have the resources to learn about other cultures. There definitely weren't any planes to bring people to other countries, and not many people owned books. This made it very difficult to learn about other cultures. Now, just by going on any social media app or looking it up on the internet, you can learn tons about any culture you like. There are many influential people who talk about their cultures online or give speeches about it, and many people can learn so much from this. Now that people have direct access to resources about other cultures, it's easier for them to be educated about it. For example, Purdue University says, for one, technology has greatly expanded access to education. In medieval times, books were rare and only an elite few had access to educational opportunities. Individuals had to travel to centers of learning to get an education. This shows that now that technologies have expanded into a larger opportunity for more people, people can read books, do research, or schoolwork online. This is why digitalization of culture has improved our society. Thank you.
Okay, and our next speaker. This is the last speaker, then they have rebuttal, and then we will conclude for today. So, our next speaker is Miley Decker, and she is Team Detrimental.
Technology put a negative impact on our lives by negatively affecting business. Technology negatively affects in-store retail workers and cashiers. Being a cashier is a very popular job for teens worldwide. With online shopping taking over, it's making it harder for teens to make money. But it's hard for teens to get online jobs as well. Technology can negatively affect banking. A lot of people do online banking now, and it's really easy for hackers to hack accounts and steal money from people or even identities. The third way technology negatively affects the economy worldwide is in hospitals. Doctors nowadays rely almost fully on technology, and again, with hackers and fraud, it's easy for people to get information about patients and even mess around with it. Also, doctors spend so much time on electronics that it makes people feel lonely and unwelcome in their staff. In 2017, 51% of Americans preferred online shopping over shopping in stores. It's now 2022, and more people have gotten used to online shopping since then because of the COVID pandemic that had just recently happened. As more and more people have moved to online shopping rather than shopping in stores, in-store retail workers and cashiers are getting less customers. Therefore, they're being ignored a lot more. The Associated Press from CBS News says the average growth in pay for retail workers isn't keeping pace with the rest of the economy. This means that the average pay for retail workers hasn't gone up as much as a lot of online jobs. One example of an online store that's taking over is Amazon. Amazon is one of the most well-known and mostly used online stores in the world. People in this exact room buy things online that they could get in the store 20, 30, or 40 minutes away. As you can see, Exhibit A on my poster shows that 80% of people prefer shopping online, 66% of people prefer shopping in store, and 63% prefer shopping online. Being an in-store retail worker or cashier is one of the most popular jobs for teens in the world. It's easy to get, and it can make a decent amount of money. But that's only if they get customers. With less customers, teenagers can't make enough money to be able to get a house, a car, or afford college. Barely anybody goes into stores now, and when people do, they're on their phones comparing prices while the retailer is being bombarded with questions. For the retailer, it's double the amount of work and half the payment. Not only does technology negatively affect retail workers, but it can also negatively affect customers. When people get on the phone to call customer service to a hotel, a company they bought a product from, or even to schedule an appointment for something, oftentimes what comes across is a robot on the other side. This can make people feel frustrated because sometimes the robot on the other side doesn't understand what the customer is saying, and oftentimes they can't help. The article, Why is Tech Support Purposely Unbearable? From the New York Times brought up a survey from the International Customer Management Institute, or the ICMI, that shows that 92% of customer service managers say that actual people would be more effective than robots would be. Robots are not very effective because most of the time people have to repeat themselves over and over just to get half an answer to one question. Not only are robots used for customer service, but they're also used in online banking, like computers, and oftentimes in their jobs. Just recently, in the 1990s, a lot of people had switched to online banking. There are a lot of upsides to it, but there are also a lot of downsides to it. A major downside is cyber attacks. Arthur Nelson, research analysis in the Carnegie Cyber Policy Initiative, said in February 2016, hackers targeted the Central Bank of Bangladesh and exploited vulnerabilities in SWIFT, the global financial system's main electronic payment messaging system, trying to steal $1 billion. When most transactions were blocked, $101 million still disappeared. The heist was a wake-up call for the finance world that the systematic cyber risks in the financial system had been severely underestimated. Okay, so Exhibit B is the Bank of Bangladesh, which is the bank that had got hacked. And Exhibit C is Kajiyat. He is the leader of the group that had hacked the bank. And as you can see, Exhibit D shows that the amount of online frauds reported skyrocketed in 2007. And the graph also shows that from the year 2000 to 2020, there have been 5 million fraud complaints. The financial crisis with online banking and online banking cyber attacks is out of control. Not only do people hack banks, but it's also easy for them to hack medical accounts as well. In the medical field, almost every tool used is electronic. One way this negatively affects the economy is fraud. Most of the patient's information is online. If a hacker hacks into the account,
Private data could be seen by the hackers and the wrong people. Not only is this pertaining to information leaking out, but it can also relate to information being mixed up. Doctors rely on the information in the computer and other technology to help with prescriptions and treatments. If somebody hacks into the account, they can mess around with the information, making it so that the doctor could give their patient the wrong treatment. Another negative effect that the electronics could have on the medical field is that doctors aren't visiting with their patients. For example, a study done by the Northwestern University showed that 1/3 of a patient's visit time with the doctor is online and not visiting with the patient. This can make the patient feel disconnected to their doctor and leads to not knowing as much as they feel they should know. Doctors could gather so much information spending time with the patient. It's complained that patients feel that the doctors are missing important information that they could gather spending time with them, rather than looking at screens and relying on technology. Given these points, considering the medical problems, banking problems, and shopping problems, we can conclude that technology advancements have negatively affected business by far. Thank you.
So at this moment, get ready for rebuttals and be scoring. I do want to remind people that we need to be quiet in the audience. I had given that warning at the beginning. And at this point, nobody should be leaving to go anywhere. We're almost done. We have 30 seconds.
Nothing.
10 seconds. Okay. So we will be hearing from Team Beneficial for the first rebuttal. Team Negative, we need to hear Team Beneficial.
So I did think that Miley had some really strong points, but in her argument, she stated that Amazon is well known and said that people prefer online shopping, and that's because it's more convenient for people. Also, with hospitals, with the help of technology, healthcare workers can get targeted diagnosis easier than we have it, and they use their computers to write down their technology to write down all of the information about the patient. And there are things such as MRIs and CAT scans so that they can scan easily and like figure out what's wrong with them. Yeah, X-rays.
Team Detrimental, your rebuttal.
Okay, so basically said that they put all their information online, like computers and stuff. And I had said earlier that hackers can hack into that and mess around with the information, making it so that doctors can get them treatment. Also, as more, and Ashley had said in her earlier writing piece, as more jobs are created, because of technology advancements, other jobs are being taken away. As I had said before, like cashiers and retail workers.
Well, let's just have, for those who presented, I think they did a really great job. So, we are going to conclude for today. Tomorrow, we will be covering question 3, question 2, and closing statements. So I'm hoping that you all come back. Hopefully we can make a little more room for all of you. I know it was a little tight, but you did very well. If we could have not the front of the room leave first, that would probably not be the best idea. If we could have 7th grade stand up. They have to keep these. Do not lose your score sheets. You need them for tomorrow. And now 6th grade.
It's almost the same.
Okay, 8th grade, sit tight for a moment.
Saying hi to the camera.
Hello.
Yeah, vaccinating and clean up our area.
Nope. They know what you look like.